Hey everyone, how's it going? Dr. Ironbat Prime 2.0, aka Noah, back again with a new video of mine, and this is a video on, well, as the title implies, my top 10 Superman copycats. Now, Superman has gained a whole lot of popularity throughout the decades and years, and I think it is no secret that Superman, well, there are obvious things coming up later on, and reasons why I want to make this video. Of course, we do have David Cornsweet and James Gunn's upcoming Superman movie later this year, but also, don't forget, Superman is like one of the first superheroes to come out in the world of comic books and all fiction. Heck, he's like one of the top 3 most iconic superheroes in comics. Plus, Superman is like a character that is one of the blueprints to making a new character, a new, comic book. I mean, again, that's why I wanted to do a video on this. So, yeah. Now, I'm going to dive in and tell you guys who my top 10 are. So, let's kick this list off, shall we? At number 10, we have the Eternal himself, Icarus. If you're in any way familiar with the Eternals, then I'm pretty sure you know exactly who Icarus is. Like all Eternals, they all have their way of just wanting to have their own power and focusing on one source of power. And Icarus is the one that wishes to focus on flying, and also, of course, have super strength and lasers, of course. Heck, he's also a character that has gone toe-to-toe with Thanos and Red Hulk, which sounds very similar to the Man of Steel going toe-to-toe with Darkseid and Doomsday. So sure, he's not really 100% an alien, but much more like a very powerless kind of god. But yeah, that's really why I wanted to throw Icarus on the list. I mean, he is also like a lot cooler in the comics when it comes to the Eternals than in the movie, because I will admit the Eternals movie, not the best in my opinion. And don't get me wrong, Richard Madden is a good actor, but Icarus from the Eternals movie was just a bit iffy. Feels like they were trying to replicate Henry Cavill's Superman, who was Superman at the time. But again, Richard Madden is a great actor, but this is also like Robb Stark from Game of Thrones. I mean, he was literally one of the only good things that I did like about the movie. I mean, loving the cast, but was a bit iffy on the character. Now at number 9 is Hyperion. This is literally the best definition of one of Marvel's versions of Superman because of his powers and what his origin is like. Much like the Man of Steel, he was, rocketed to Earth, only he was from a different and alternate universe who traveled to Earth the 616, aka the main Marvel universe, and would of course possess the exact same powers and be as strong as the Man of Steel himself. He is close enough to being got one of Marvel's versions of Superman. Heck, he might be close enough to popping up in the MCU. Now at number 8 is a hero from Astonishing Time named Infinite. Now, Astonishing Times is actually written by one of my few favorite YouTubers, Variant Comics, and Infinite is, already like their version of what they want their Superman to be like. When it came to the writers creating the character, of course you have a speedster, a vigilante, and a powerhouse hero, and Infinite is that powerhouse hero who is, in a way somewhat similar to Superman. His origin is not fully explained yet, but hey, once they make like a full-on origin in the comics, I'm just gonna enjoy reading it. And yeah, I would highly recommend reading Astonishing Times itself just so you have a better understanding of the character. But hey, that should be enough to say that, I wanted to throw this character on my list. Now at number 7 is one of DC's heroes, Icon. Hence the name Icon. He is another Superman living in the DC universe. This is a character that's been around since sometime in the 1990s, but has an origin somewhat similar to the Man of Steel, where he was from another planet and also possesses the exact same powers. And I will admit, he does feel very underrated. Like, not a lot of people talk about him. He only showed up in a couple episodes of Young Justice. Yeah, he just feels very underrated, and he doesn't have a whole lot of comic books. And this is also a character that's been around for just a couple years, not a full 80 years like Superman. So yeah, he may be underrated, but he is a Superman that deserves a bit more credit. Taking the sixth spot on the list is Brendan Breyer, aka Brightburn. This may be a horror movie, but I really want to throw Brightburn on the list because I actually love the movie and enjoy it. I mean, it may not be a box office hit, but I actually love how the story turned out and everything. This is a version of the Man of Steel that, well, is actually a horror movie version of the character. I mean, imagine Superman as like an evil 12-year-old where his powers were kicking in, and instead of being the world's savior, he is instead, well, he is actually supposed to rule the world. That should be enough to say that he is pretty much a scary version of Superman. I mean, sure, there are a dozen other evil Supermans out there, but this one, probably the youngest, and a version that I just want to see more of. Heck, I would still love to see a sequel to this movie, and maybe a comic book to continue the story. James Gunn, I know you're busy with DC stuff, but please contact your brother. Please have him make a sequel and just give us a comic or give us a continuing story of Brightburn. I mean, I know it's been like a little over, like nearly a full decade, but honestly, I just want to see more of Brightburn, so please make that happen. Halfway at number 5 is Sentry. So when you think of like who Marvel's Superman is, this is a character that just pops up in everyone's head if you are in any way familiar with the character. Already you can tell that this is one of Marvel's Supermans because he has an S on his chest and of course wears a cape and his power levels are extremely high. But let's just say there are some differences here and there. For example, his origin is much similar to Captain America where he takes a super soldier serum, only he gets powers that's, well, 1,000 times stronger than an exploding sun. So yeah, there are some differences of like, he's not really 100% Marvel Superman. And like I said before, that title kind of sort of goes to Hyperion. But there are like other powers and abilities that he does have that I can't really name them all and it'd be too complicated to say, but yeah, when it comes to like versions of Superman in Marvel, this is pretty much, well, just my version of like Marvel's Superman. And also, this is a character that we're going to see in the upcoming Thunderbolts movie, and I cannot wait. I don't know if he's going to be the hero or the villain, or if he's going to be in other Marvel MCU movies, but who knows. Taking the 4th spot on the list is Billy Batson, aka Shazam. This is literally the first Superman copycat to hit the pages of a comic book. Obviously, you can tell that he is a version of Superman because, well, other than wears a red costume with a cape, well, let's just say his power levels are somewhat similar of like being super strong, super fast, he can fly, he's invincible. Yeah, I mean, sure, there are some differences, like he has lightning powers, and of course, he's a kid that transforms into an adult. I mean, come on, we've all seen the Shazam movies, and we've all read the comics. Taking the top 3 is Omni-Man. I just had to throw this guy in my top 3, and he literally is the Superman of the Invincible universe. If you're in any way familiar with the Invincible comics, you obviously know who Omni-Man is. I mean, Nolan is a character who is, well, from a planet called Viltrum, but he is also a Viltrumite, which is Robert Kirkman's version of what Kryptonians are. And instead of him being the world's savior, aka the world's Superman, he's instead supposed to conquer Earth later on. Again, if you've read the comics or if you've seen the Amazon Prime series, that should be enough to say that he is the Superman of this world. And I mean, I'd go on talking more about Omni-Man, but hey, Viltrumites are pretty scary. Some of you might even ask what about Nolan's son, Mark, aka Invincible, if he's a version of Superman. Well, I've always felt like he was more of like a version of John Kent's Superboy. The more you know, but also I just figured I'd clear that out. I almost wish I could put Mark on the list, but again, he's more of like Superboy than Superman. Taking the 2nd spot on the list is Homelander. Literally one of the scariest evil versions of Superman out there that's not from like an alternate universe of Superman, but in the boys universe. Yeah, he is just that scary, and I wanted to have him as number 2. I mean, Homelander is a character who is obviously the world's Superman in the boys universe because obviously he can fly, he's super strong, And of course, he has heat vision, just like the Man of Steel, only let's just say he's evil. He is just scary, he's powerful. I mean, sure, he may not be from another planet, but come on, if you are in any way familiar with, well, the Boys comics or the Amazon Prime series, then you should know. And just like the Man of Steel, he is the leader of the Seven, much like how Superman is the leader of the Justice League, and of course, has a costume that's somewhat similar to Superman's. I mean, need I say more about this guy? And my number one top of the list is J'onn J'onzz, aka the Martian Manhunter. In my honest opinion, J'onn is top of the list. I mean, he's a Martian, yes, I know, but I mean, he is from another planet that was dying, and well, he is a character that is an alien, well, actually a Martian, and he also became a member of the Justice League. He's like one of the first few Supermans to hit the pages of comic books. Yeah, he's just that popular and of a character, and I mean, if you've read the comics or seen the TV shows and movies that he was in, then you should know why I want to have him top of the list. Heck, he's also a character that has met Superman a dozen times, whether it's fights or friendship things or Justice League things. Heck, there were also times where he has kicked the crap out of Superman and he proved that he was stronger than the Man of Steel himself. He is just that powerful, if you've read the comic books, of course. Now, I can't end this list without some honorable mentions, and believe me, there is a million honorable mentions, so here are just a few honorable mentions I'd like to throw in. And as for the honorable mentions, those would be Blue Marvel, another one of Marvel's Supermans, Metro Man from the movie Megamind, Hancock, a movie where he was played by Will Smith, Superior, one of Mark Millar's versions of Superman, Goku, who is, well, kind of sort of related to Superman, Apollo from the Wildstorm universe and DC Comics, Gladiator, an X-Men mutant / character, Marvel Man, another one of Superman's ripoffs, and Utopian, a dozen other heroes from Jupiter's Legacy. Yeah, there's just a whole lot more Supermans out there than you think. I couldn't name them all, but hey, maybe I might do a part 2 to this video so I can name more. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all liked it. Hope you all enjoyed it. Now, I'm just gonna go get ready for some, well, other videos, other projects I have coming later in the future, but stay tuned for what's next. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell, hit the comments, hit the thumbs up. That would be very supportive if you guys did that for my channel. But also don't forget to follow me on all my social media. It is just right here. I just might follow you guys right back at you. But till next time, this is Dr. Ironbat Prime 2.0, out and about, and I will see you all in my next video.